T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you are in the live chat, we do this to keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform we're utilizing tonight. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you know when we go live. So it's not Wednesday night, but it is Thursday. Some things happened yesterday that I needed to postpone the show until tonight. So I do appreciate everybody who's been patient. But once again, we're welcoming back to the panel, Big John. Hey, Big John.
It's your old pal back again. One more time on a Thursday.
Thursday. How you been?
I've been good. I've been good. A lot of people been telling me what I think's going on. Yeah. But I've been well than that.
Good. And Ernie, how you feeling?
I'm doing much better. Back is slowly but surely getting back to his original form. Thank you for holistic care and Most High God for allowing me to be able to sit with you guys tonight and be able to do God's work and be able to spread his message to people. Got a sermon planned for Sunday. It's going to be pretty timely. It's entitled Until It Rains, and it's going to be based off of Genesis 7, when God flooded the earth.
Very good. Can't wait to replay that next week. Awesome. Well, there's a lot going on in this world. I don't know if you guys have been aware of the things that are happening, but it's just it's so overwhelming. We've got train derailments all over the place. We've got trucks dumping out chemicals. We've got this thing in Palestine, Ohio, that is now officially contaminated the Ohio River. So it's going to be spreading. It's just a mess. Hopefully we can get some information out to you guys over on the Facebook page as that continues to unfold. But tonight we're going to talk about something that's quite interesting. I find this a quite interesting topic. It's called we're talking about portals, stargates, and doorways. And it says we're going to play a quick video for you guys, but just to break it down a little bit, it says we have the word of a former Navy SEAL that describes portals he says exist around the world, including Argentina, Australia, and Alaska, as well as the Middle East. These spots also show up on the Stargate map pictured, and you're going to see that in the video. The map also says there are 12 Stargates around the world. He goes on to say that the portals have been created with the help of aliens, which we know those are interdimensional creatures. And apparently these stargates or portals are also in Sedona, Arizona, which is they describe as a vortex. And I think, John, you mentioned that the other night when we were on talking about Sedona.
Yes.
So Sedona is a vortex believed to be a swirling center of energy that are conducive to healing, meditation, self-exploration. These are places where the earth seems especially alive with energy, and many people feel inspired, recharged, uplifted after visiting a vortex. So we are going to look at the map, and we're going to look at the video, and I believe he shows the map on the video. So we're going to start out with that. We'll be back when it's done.
Antique doors and gateways can be found all over the world, though some of these doors may be much more than they appear on the surface. Throughout history, researchers have wondered if...
Turn it.
There may be...
Are you seeing it scattered, or is it good for you guys?
It seems good on our end. Just has a green line that's shining through. It could be part of the video, though.
No, hold on a second. Yeah, can you play it? My video card's definitely going out.
Okay. Give me 1 second here.
There you go. Sorry, guys, my video card's going out on my computer, and it scrambles. So for some reason, it scrambles the videos now when I try to play them. While we are live, I don't have any problems any other time, but while we are live, I have a problem with it. So Ernie's going to pull that up for us, and we're going to watch that video. I do apologize. There we go.
Antique doors and gateways can be found all over the world, though some of these doors may be much more than they appear on the surface. Throughout history, researchers have wondered if there may be portals to other dimensions scattered all around us. We've found the locations of many ancient doorways that seem to serve no purpose, at least not in modern times. Though many theorists have begun to wonder if such doorways may have once been used by humans or giants as a way to travel through different dimensions, maybe even to other planets. Whatever the case may be, there's a lot about history that has yet to be discovered. Today, we'll be looking at several mysterious portals that may lead to another dimension. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. Stonehenge. No video about ancient portals would be complete without talking about Stonehenge. This is one of the most famous places that people have speculated could have once been home to a mystical portal between worlds. Even though we've researched this monument for decades, there's still so much that we don't know about it. For one, we don't even know how it could have been built. The stones are far too large to have been moved by ancient humans, yet power tools and other equipment would not be invented for thousands of years. As it stands, Stonehenge remains one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, but it's possible it could be far more mysterious and important than we could have ever imagined. Today, we still have no idea why Stonehenge would have been built in the first place. The monument doesn't seem to serve any real purpose, though we've recently begun to learn that there may be tunnels and other artifacts located deep beneath the surface. All of that aside, we've yet to learn why such an amazing structure would have been built. To make things even stranger, back in 1971, a policeman was traveling near Stonehenge when he noticed a strange blue light that seemed to be coming from one of the rocks. It was almost as if the rock had transformed into a mystical doorway, and the blue light would have led to another dimension or another area of outer space. The officer wasn't sure what was going on, but as he inspected the light, he began to hear screams. These screams stopped just as quickly as they had begun. And by the time the officer reached the rock formation, all that was left was a campfire that had since been extinguished. To this day, the mystery of what this officer may have witnessed remains unknown. Is it possible someone could have been camping out by Stonehenge as a mysterious portal opened up? Absolutely. It's also possible the person may have been swallowed up by this ancient portal, but we just don't know for sure. The Vortex of Sedona. The small town of Sedona can be found in Arizona. This town is home to a series of swirls or vortexes that seem to have been naturally created over a long period of time. However, some of the locals wonder if these vortexes could serve a more surreal purpose. Many of the natives consider these areas to be holy grounds. They're highly regarded by the people who live there, and some people say they work as doorways to transport the souls of the deceased to another realm of reality, maybe even to a distant planet or galaxy. This may seem like a far-fetched idea or some sort of science fiction, but the area has been filled with mystery for many decades, leading many people to wonder if there could be more to the vortex than meets the eye. The locals tell the story of a group of treasure hunters who came to the area in the 1950s. These hunters were curious if the swirls could hold some sort of ethereal meaning. Driven by their curiosity, they ventured out to find out as much about the vortexes as they could, though this led to one of the men disappearing, never to be seen again. The story's been passed down for generations, so we don't know for sure what happened to this man. However, they say that he stepped a little bit too close to one of the vortexes late one evening, stepping just out of the eyesight of the other hunters. Then he disappeared into thin air. Abydos. Abydos is known for being one of the oldest locations in Egypt. The area is filled with strange and mysterious hieroglyphs that researchers are continuing to understand to this day. For the most part, they have a good idea about the stories these texts tell, but there are a few details that are still a bit unclear. What makes these hieroglyphics so interesting is that they seem to show pictures of helicopters, war tanks, and even flying saucers, much like the UFOs that have been spotted in recent history. Though the entire story of Abydos would be turned on its head in 1904. A woman was born in London and went by the name of Dorothy Eady. Dorothy always felt as though she didn't belong in modern society and claimed that she was the reincarnated version of Pharaoh Seti, who would have ruled over the land of Abydos. This may sound completely ridiculous, but she had evidence to back up her outrageous claims. Dorothy spoke with researchers and was able to accurately read off the hieroglyphics that had been left behind by the ancient Egyptians. Researchers were obviously skeptical, but time and time again, her claims proved to be true. She was also able to detail where the scientists and researchers found certain ancient artifacts and texts with perfect accuracy. As time passed by, Dorothy began to go by the name Seti in reference to her supposed former life. She would also tell incredible stories about doorways that had since been sealed off. She claimed that these doorways would lead to other realms of reality or other dimensions, though she had no way to enter them any longer. She tried several times to open some of these doors, but they were no longer active. We don't know for sure if this woman was telling the truth about her knowledge or if someone had been feeding her information from the inside. However, regardless, Dorothy's story has lived on and has become one of the strangest mysteries in the history of Abydos. The Stargate of Ranmasu Uyana. Ranmasu Uyana is an incredible location that can be found in Sri Lanka. Many years ago, researchers discovered an underground system of caves that had been carved into the rock. Walking through the caves will take on a journey through time, transporting you back thousands of years. Though it isn't only this that makes the caves so incredible. Carved into the stone on many of the tunnel walls are patterns that seem to closely resemble outer space and our solar system. The symbols that were used in these drawings are not fully understood, but it seems like these caves were being used to map out different parts of the universe. Though, how would people in ancient times have been able to have such a vast knowledge of stars and outer space? What makes these drawings even more creepy is that similar drawings have been found all over the world. Not only are they similar, but they're virtually identical, and each of them appears to be a map of some sort, though we don't know what these people would have been mapping out. Some researchers and theorists claim that the Ranmasu Uyana people would have been inventing a type of gateway that could transport them all around the galaxy, possibly even taking them to other dimensions. Gateways and interesting doorways are found all throughout the halls of this tunnel system, so it is certainly possible that the tunnel system could have served as a hub, allowing you to travel anywhere in space. The entryways that are lined with maps and atlases could have been used so that you could best understand where you'd be going. This is all obviously just a far-fetched theory, but it makes as much sense as any other conclusion. Considering we don't have any idea what these tunnels would have been used for, it stands to reason that intergalactic travel could have been a very real possibility. The Sumerian Staircase. We've discussed the Sumerians many times before. As far as we know, they were one of the first human civilizations to walk the other, and the roots of their society are heavily based upon the idea of divine intervention, with them repeatedly mentioning being visited by angels and gods all throughout their history. One of the most compelling examples of this is a staircase that was found. The mystery around this staircase rivals that of the Egyptian pyramids, as we have no idea what it would have been used for, and it seems like it would have been extremely difficult for the Sumerians to have built such an amazing structure at the time. If you stand at the lowest level of the staircase and look upwards towards the top, the staircase seems to disappear into the sky, leading to it being nicknamed the Stairway to Heaven. An antique seal can be seen nearby the staircase, as well as what seems to depict gods exiting from the top of the staircase and visiting with the people of Earth. Many people say that as they look at this portrait or seal, the face of God seems to follow them wherever they go. We know this is simply an illusion, but given the strange history of the Sumerians, it's understandable how this could be super creepy. One of the most amazing things about this seal and other portraits that were found nearby is that it seems to show modern humans as well. There are images of humanoid beings that seem to be wearing watches while operating modern-day buttons or levers. It's possible this is just a misinterpretation of the ancient artwork, but we can't help but wonder if there may be much more to this staircase and the artwork than meets the eye. Maybe the Sumerians truly did find out a way to commingle with gods by creating a literal stairway to heaven. Keeping everything we've discussed in mind, it seems pretty clear that ancient humans had some sort of vast knowledge about the universe that we, as modern humans, still do not understand. The question must be asked, how could ancient civilizations have had access to such a vast amount of knowledge about the universe around them? Even today, using all of the most high-tech equipment that science has to offer, we don't fully understand our world, our solar system, or our galaxy. Yet these ancient civilizations seem to have been able to accurately map out stars and solar systems. If they were able to do this so many years ago, is it really too much to consider that they may have had ways to travel to different planets or different realms of reality? At the moment, the best theory we have to understand how these people had such a large amount of knowledge is simply divine intervention. The Sumerians provide a lot of evidence for this, with them claiming many of their inventions were shared with them by gods or angels, though we don't have enough evidence to confirm these theories to be true. Whatever you believe, we all have to admit that there was something strange going on thousands of years ago that we still don't understand today. Whether it was gateways to a different reality, or simply some sort of advanced mapping system that led these people to create such interesting architecture, we may never know.
Okay. Welcome to the panel, Trish. Hey, girl.
Hey,
Glad you could join us.
thank you. Sorry I'm late.
No worries at all. So we just watched.
What's up, whatever?
whomever, whatever. So we just watched a video that started talking about how we have these different portals or these different stargates from around the world, and and it talked a lot about the ancient technology that goes along with it. It's not out of the realm of possibility that this ancient knowledge has been hidden from us, just like the other ancient knowledges. Let's Trish, you didn't have time, you didn't watch all the video, I don't think, but Big John did, and Ernie. What's your take on that?
I mentioned it in chat that humans do know about these portals. They know about all the artifacts. They know about all the hieroglyphs and know what they mean. It's just that they hide it from us to prevent us from knowing about it. All them artifacts and stuff like that. You can't tell me that a majority of those haven't been curated in the Smithsonian or in the Vatican.
Oh yeah, definitely. What they try to put together now and show you they show you these hieroglyphs. Like I said before, the good stuff isn't shown because the good stuff anybody can go and translate that. It doesn't have to be any kind of special, philosopher or whoever studies hieroglyphs, because they're like what they really have. And it's like, wow, somebody made this yesterday, basically, with what they show. But all the places that it did show in the video all have a special story, but every culture, the main thing is that every culture has Egyptian things, no matter where they come from. That's what all connects. And that's what they don't want you to know, is about how the Egyptian connection to everything.
Right. Exactly. They don't.
Yeah, but my thing is that we've talked about on numerous occasions about America being Egypt, and we discuss evidence to show that it is true. Now, all this stuff that's showing up in the Middle East, are they really portraying that region to be what it says they say they are, or are they trying to mirror what exactly went on in America?
Yeah. Now, the Egyptian thing literally comes from when Mark Antony and Cleopatra's son, Alexander Helios, they landed in California with like 50,000 ships and then just kind of made their way down into South Texas and then, Mexico. And then, of course, crossed the Tennessee. That's why everything, was just mirrors, Egypt in that aspect, because I think those aren't the original Egyptians. Those were an assimilated culture, of course, from Egypt. Now, when it was Pangea, so there's kind of like two different sides of the story. The original Egyptians are the fallen, the Anunnaki, and they had all the main power sources. Now, here's another thing. Ernie just said, is it mirrored from America to the Middle East? And that'd be something that would be opinionated. Now, if it's mirrored from Mars to Earth, that's 100% fact. Because like the Giza Plateau, the Sphinx, all that stuff's on Mars. And then they know it is. I mean, the Viking probe of 58, whether you believe there's a space or not, took pictures of the Cydonia region of Mars. And it's called Cydonia because Sidon was the capital of Phoenicia. And the pyramids on Mars exactly match to the T and to the degree of the Giza Plateau. And Cairo means in Arabic, camp of Mars. So if you want to look at like different wormholes or portals, wherever you want to say, Stargate, every culture does have this. I put a video up a long time ago, probably way over a year, of a tablet that was found in Mexico City, which shows the planet Rahab with a bunch of, these rays of sunshine coming out of it. But that image was also found in Baghdad. So every culture talks about, these stargates escaping certain places. So, a vortex, a spiral, and we can go on and on about indigenous cultures all drawing spirals, no matter where they're at in the world. Like Ernie said, it's all connected. Every culture has experienced a certain group of entities, and that's how all the patterns and the glyphs are the same in that aspect, because there's also there's glyphs from the Anunnaki, which I'm going to just refer as the fallen angels, and they have their own, language. And until recently, these glyphs are being studied, and because these messages are actually being, relayed across the planet from other dimensions or wherever you think they're at, Antarctica, who knows. But it sounds crazy, but everything right now is being revealed. And I think that the Stargates have a story to tell, because they told a story to the first settlers per se. And now I think that it's all coming back into our reality, because they're trying to share a message with us.
Yeah, and when you look at things like the Grand Canyon, and I just showed a picture up on the screen of a temple. It's what is it, Osiris, or what is it? Hold on a second. It is Isis's temple that they discovered. There's quite a few Egyptian temples in the Grand Canyon, and there's no explanation for it. Also, if you guys remember when Marcus Kaiser was on, he was telling us about the portal that they had that led directly from the Grand Canyon to someplace in Africa.
Yeah, I remember. Yes, right. I mean, it connects on these ley lines, and then of course they talk about jump rooms. That's the whole point of like Project Pegasus, was a jump room. Not necessarily a. He went into, like a Nazi Bale kind of thing, rather than an actual pass through a Stargate, which is depicted, in the movie or whatnot. So it's any kind of, they got harness energy. Do they actually have a doorway? Now here's another thing, different doorways from Peru, until some of the ones that are built here, outside certain buildings, or even like the St. Louis Arch. Any of that, it's all dedication, because I think that was their first victory, that, on the Luciferian side, to know that their ascending masters escaped Rahab an actual planet that existed that was Lucifer's throne, and they all basically had their own little Stargate.
Right. And the Tower of Babel is said to be one of the stargates as well, between here and well, they said they wanted it to be between here and heaven, but it's called a stargate. A lot of people refer to it as it. Here's something that is in the Sumerian. They say it's depicting a stargate, a portal. And here's something else. This is one that I thought was very interesting. This shows I don't even know what you want to call it. It's made out of rock, and if you can see here, there's a hole on the left here depicting a stargate and things coming out of it. Where it was found in relation, they think that this is talking about Mars as well.
Yeah, Mars, and if you go research it, Mars was where they all left rehab and went to Mars, and then Mars had its atmosphere taken away.
Right.
But it was also a thriving society for the fallen, and
So God took that away from them, or
yeah, God took away the atmosphere. Yeah, he blew up rehab. It was all judged on how much they were doing. Like experiment wise, this and that. Blew up that, took away the atmosphere, flooded the earth. That was the three cataclysms of the universe.
I'm really interested in this and researching more information on that. What books and resources have you looked into to discover this type of information?
There's actually just one book, and they took him out in 2012. His name was David Flynn. I think he is the only person that has ever figured out that the area on Mars of Cydonia literally mirrored any event on this planet that we live on.
Mm. Well, when you hear there's a lot of whistleblowers, there's a lot of people that talk about the Stargate program between what is it in New Mexico?
Which one? Should be a place in Mexico.
The underground.
Which Dulce?
Yeah. Between there and Mars. There's been actual people talking. This one said he was a child. His father worked the program, and he went with his father many times to Mars through a portal.
Yeah, Anthony Borgiani, he went to the Gettysburg Address too.
Wow. Yeah, that's another thing is you had mentioned there's a let me pull it up here. Hold on a second.
The chronovisor.
The chronovisor. Did I pull it? I don't know if I got it or not. The chronovisor is a. Has any of you guys ever watched Fringe?
No, I haven't.
Okay, in the show Fringe, they actually showed a chronovisor in one of the episodes, and what it was is open up a portal. It was like this, looked like this TV kind of this mirror thing, and reportedly the Vatican has this machine. It's a machine that was created and made, and that's what they use to go back and view the crucifixion of Christ.
Yeah. They had that. I think a Jesuit designed that, and the Dropa stones had shown the crucifixion. That's what they claimed that Eisenhower watched was a Dropa stone footage of the crucifixion, and then they could see it. Of course, Vatican could see it, but not participate. Neither could they claimed that the Nazis actually went back to the crucifixion, but couldn't do nothing about it.
Couldn't do anything about it, right?
Yeah, they can only view it. They were there, but it's just like a stamped place and time. If God is time, then they can't do nothing about it.
Right. Here's kind of what it looks like. It looks kind of like a TV hooked up, and it opens up where you can see. It's not. It doesn't work. The TV doesn't work like a TV where it works on signals and stuff. I think it works on frequencies. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
frequency for sure. Yeah, that's how the Jesuit. I had a whole thing about. I got to find that thing, but I had it like written down. But when they made it, of course, it's frequency because it literally the frequency, like on the Dropa stones. The Dropa stones were like the first, RAM. The random access memory. Basically, it was like a computer, and they found those in Tibet. And when you put the Dropa stone on the player per se, this little arm would each rock was a different size on the Dropa stone, and it looks like it was just like kind of like jagged and cut, but it was made like that because each time the little arm hit the rock, it would make a vibration, and vibration obviously is sound.
right.
So it made a hologram. It would when they would turn it fast, a hologram of the sounds would actually come together. The sound would make a hologram, and it was like whatever they filmed.
Wasn't it kind of like
this.
you remember the movie the Time Machine? Do you remember when he went to the future and he had that like little coin and he spun it around and it started vibrating and making this sound, and all of a sudden this hologram came up and started talking to him?
Okay, the one they redid, I
Yeah.
guess, like yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah. And for you guys wondering, Father Pellegrino Ernetti was the one
Ernetti, there he is. That's him.
that
Yeah, they
created the coronavirus.
they hushed him up pretty fast too.
Well, they took his, go figure, they took his invention and silenced him. He was a Benedictine abbey of St. Giorgio Maggiore, and he built it in the 1940s.
Yep, that's right. Well, yeah, he got it from, basically, the Vatican was rummaging through what's left over in Germany.
Right.
Everybody, it's almost like, here's the thing. Yeah, it was good to win the war and break up the Third Reich, but it was a free for all. Everybody was in there digging up that damn technology and taking what they could.
Right.
But it's a catch-22. You're taking charged dimensional things, so you're spreading. It's not being put away or destroyed. It's just spreading to everybody's going to have a piece of the other technology now.
Well, it says Father Ernetti began telling people a strange story. He said that in 1952, he was sent to Milan to work with the electroacoustics laboratory at the Catholic University with Father Agostino Gemelli. On September 15th, 1952, Father Ernetti says he was working with Father Gemelli on a recording of Gregorian chants, but the tape recorder mic kept malfunctioning. Frustrated, he turned his head up and gestured to the sky, asking for his deceased father for help. A disembodied voice replied from the tape recorder that said, "Of course I shall help you. I'm always with you." And the voice shocked him. He recognized it and shook and broke into a sweat. He says he then let's see. The machine started vibrating, and he saw his deceased father through it. And it said that he reportedly took the discovery directly to Pope Pius the 12th in Rome, and allegedly he put his hand on his shoulder and reassured him that you don't really need to worry about this. We got this. We'll take this from you. Don't worry. And so they took the machine from him.
Yep. That's what happened.
Wow.
I was going to say, I forgot about to say something about David Flynn. Now, you have whistleblowers. The reason why I know David was, in fact, the real deal, I'm not saying nobody else is, but the reason why David had the fastest forming cancer of any human on the earth and was given any time to talk, because David broke the code of Isaac Newton's Temple Codex. And he also now I was going to say about that book. It's called Sidonia: The Chronicles of Mars. If you read that book, just get ready, because that is exactly what happened, exactly to the T. And that's why they found David so dangerous, because he was the first one to unveil that in 1995 when he had a website called The Watchers. He was the original Nephilim on the internet.
Wow. I will put the name of that book in the description link for you guys. Remind me to grab that from you again. Yeah, well, I definitely want to read that book. So, I mean, this is something that the government has been covering up since modern times, actually. I mean, they know about these things. They've been working on these things. They've actually put to use these portals or these doorways or stargates or whatever you want to call them. But of course, I mean, can you imagine if this would gotten out to the public? I mean, we'd have people running all over time, space, and, looking up everything.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's what made it so mad, different people, because you couldn't change anything.
Right. But we still
Well, if you really think about it, God wouldn't allow that to happen anyways.
Right.
Look what he did to the Tower of Babel.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think, and definitely was that when they opened up exactly to the second heaven, and they, it says they could see him. He definitely, put a stop to that. I know that, when the Nazis would go different points in time, and they would talk about that they couldn't exactly do anything about it. Just like, it says in Corinthians that if they had known who that was, they wouldn't have crucified the Christ.
Right. Do you guys know who the dark journalist is? Daniel Lentz? You ever heard of him?
Kind of rings a bell.
His channel's called Dark Journalist. His name's Daniel. He did a series called the X Technology, the X series, and he talks about this secret space program. And the secret space program, and a lot of that black budget money goes to these Stargate or Stargate portal technology to stabilize them. And I think that's what what's going on when it comes to CERN. They have these, they are opening up these portals. The only problem is they can't stabilize it. When they started it in 2000, and I think it was 8, when they first started it up, they were opening up these portals, but they weren't using enough energy to stabilize them. And I think that's why we've seen them stop, redo the Satan magnets, and restart it up at a higher velocity, higher voltage.
My question is, if they're working with Satan and he has every knowledge imaginable to do these types of things, why are they taking so long to do it? Is this doing it by design, or to get people conditioned, or are they doing it because Satan's not revealing everything to them?
I don't think Satan's revealing everything to them. I don't think okay, so say you're a villain. Okay, let's use like a movie metaphor. Say you're a villain, and you come to these people and you like, look, I have this technology, I can help you out. You're going to do quid pro quo. So I think that's what they're doing back and forth with one another. He gives them a little bit, they give him a little bit more. He gives them a little bit, they give him a little bit more. I don't think he's going to give them all the knowledge and the technology in one shot. Does that make sense?
Right. But I mean, he knows his time is short, and
he does. Yeah.
He has to get this stuff up and running right away, but he needs to open that portal to release his angels. So what's taking him so long? I'm not saying that I want it to happen, but I know it's supposed to happen.
I don't think he's got enough souls yet. I think he's greedy, and I think he wants to harvest more souls before he's ready for this to happen.
I think he's playing both sides of the fence, because he has to use a pretty basic system to get everybody to be underneath one world government. You know what I mean? Like, how simple is it to make everybody have the same income or have everybody have the same, one world currency? That's like, you're just forcing somebody into a system, right? That's nothing like advanced about that. We live in a system right now where, we use money of basically Luciferians anyways.
Right.
So to think that, yeah, he's given technology, but it's only to confuse and bamboozle, but he's also using the basic principles of trying to herd humans into like, well, guess what? You can't have any food unless you have this. And it's like, that's easy. That any human can trick an animal, and he's tricking humans, to get into the trailer. And I definitely think it's like Ernie said, he has a short time, but he's playing both sides. And then, like, once everybody's corralled, then do you really expose, or do you do what the Bible says and the Antichrist leads, this culling per se?
Right.
And then once the Antichrist, because Lucifer still has to become flesh, until he does that, he hasn't mimicked, or
Right.
the resurrection
to unfold the way it's
he hasn't mimicked the resurrection, which is the most important thing. This is the whole point of believing in Jesus, is that you're going to live again, for eternity, with him.
Right.
So he hasn't mocked it yet with when he enters the Antichrist body.
Right.
But he's using such a simple tactic.
Well, they do have Gilgamesh's DNA, so
yeah, I mean that whoever they have as the host, whoever may be, obviously is going to have the Nephilim hybrid, but like the apotheosis, that's always downplayed, and because they don't want anybody to know that apotheosis is that's what's it like when Lucifer enters the host, it's going to be done at the Capitol Hill building,
right,
in Washington D.C.
Wow.
And they do not want to know. Nobody. That's what they downplay. Oh well, it's the rising and becoming of enlightenment. They'll downplay the apotheosis like it's some kind of fun thing the Greeks used to pretend or have. What they call plays, tragedies.
It's just pomp and circumstances. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just tradition and carry on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't know that the entire capital of the country we live in is dedicated to the apotheosis. That Washington D.C. is built for that one event.
Wow. But okay, so wow. that's going to be something to watch. Trish, what?
Oh, my head is spinning. I'm just taking it all in. I'm thinking about, like, we know they have Nimrod's DNA. And so then I keep thinking, well, they're going to resurrect him, but it doesn't make any sense because Big John's saying, Satan's going to come in the flesh. He's probably going to enter someone's body that's already here, right? Probably William. But then what was the point of Nimrod's DNA? And all I can think about is, I hate to say it, maybe injecting it into people. I don't know.
Oh, no doubt. Well, I mean, yeah, because, of course, you had to have a program for the Antichrist army. Here's the thing. How is he going to get... You're not going to have everybody that's going... Somebody's going to be like, oh, well, that guy's kind of weird, and now he's doing lying signs and wonders. So he has to have a military. Now, is he going to have a human army, or is he going to have a chimera army? Because, as far as I know, underneath, there's all these military bases, and not to mention numerous people's visions and dreams about half human, half animal armies waiting, underneath our feet. Jesus even saying men's hearts failing them for coming upon the earth. Upon don't mean from the sky, it means from underneath.
And I think some of them are already here inside of people.
It's good. 8-front war. It's going to be
yeah. I think that's what's going on. I think that's why the politicians are so demonic, is they have been taken over by something else. Literally. I'm not just saying this. And I think that's what's happening to a lot of people too, because they're just going crazy, especially in the cities, you know. I think a lot of people who had open doors, they've been taken over. I'm sorry, but they may not even be in there anymore. They're just like the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, and they're just going to try to repeat what Nimrod say. Nimrod, because Osiris is him, and then Apollo. That's all the same person. So when Apollyon comes up from the bottomless pit and inhabits the body of the Antichrist, Apollo. That's the whole belief of this. They're going to repeat the Tower of Babel because his original mission was to what? Wage war on the Most High. Now he didn't complete that. Now they're going to have more. Of course, they're going to make you believe, hey, look, we could do it this time. It's going to be like a huge propaganda. No matter what tribulation consists of, they're going to be aiming any kind of weaponry or any kind of advance in anything. They're going to have this whole array of munitions, whether it's fallen angel technology or human built, and they're literally their whole goal is to blow Jesus out of the sky during the second coming. That's the whole thing.
What?
Well, but that was the reason for the Tower of Babel as it was. That was what.
That was the war. It's number 2. They don't know anything new. They have to repeat the old.
That's right. Nimrod was building the tower to go up to heaven so that his army could defeat God. Absolutely.
That's why he had the bioengineering labs. That's why he had the Ubermesh. The Nazis spilled the beans with all the stuff they had in the Ubermesh, the super soldier programs, and the DNA. That's exactly what Nimrod did. And then the Nazis, they just, like I said, it was a catch-22. Like, yeah, they were defeated, but everybody was grabbing up the technology in Berlin, and then all taking it for themselves. Like, oh, look what we got. Now we got it. And then my belief is that America is a Fourth Reich. And then, but yeah, it's going to be, they want to blow Jesus out of the sky for the second coming. That's exactly what their plan is.
And so they are actually putting these portals around the world, actually. But I've pulled up some from the United States just alone. Check this one out. This is in Phoenix, Arizona. This one even has the chevron from the Stargate movie.
Yeah.
And it looks like a Q, kind of, huh?
Yep. This one is in Detroit, Michigan.
There's a couple of TikToks on that one, and
I have it pulled up to play. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's why we're on the same page, Lori. That's why you my sister.
I have it pulled up to play. This one is in Colorado Springs.
Kind of like the snake eating his own tail.
Check this one out. This one's in China. Now, we actually have some interesting things about the one in China. Now, most portals that you'll find have something to do with water. There's like water around them, or some sort of pooling mirror, whatever they're called. But this one, paramagnetic structure with Mercury encircling the structure. Water is a diamagnetic. In close proximity, these two elements create an energy source facilitating a dimensional portal. And they've been building this for a while. And then we have, of course, not to forget, the Hoover Dam is definitely another portal as well. The Stargate.
Yeah, if you look in the movie Transformers, that's where MBE-1, aka Metatron, is located. Now it's not coincidental that Metatron is actually a name derived off of Metatron.
Right,
So
Meta. Yeah, another one, I didn't pull the picture up of it, but the arch in St. Louis is also a portal.
Yeah, the gateway to the what?
Gateway to the east is called, I believe. Yeah, gateway. It's actually called a gateway. Absolutely. And I don't know if this is true, but there's a, I don't know if it's an urban legend or if it's true, that George Bush Sr. flew a plane through the arch.
When he was a pilot in World War II or something.
Yeah, he flew a plane through the arch, and I always thought that had some sort of symbology, considering, George Bush Sr. was,
Yeah.
I'm sure it had some sort of significance. I'm gonna pull that video up to play you guys. This is downtown Detroit.
Before you do that, Trish had a good question. She wanted to know the difference between the Stargate and the portal. I'm assuming they're one and the same.
They are. Stargate, portal, doorway. You'll see them referenced, each one of them. There's a lot of doorways out in the Middle East that don't go anywhere. You just got these, like in the middle of nowhere, you'll just find a doorway. And a lot of people will, the legends or whatever would have it, the indigenous people in the area will say that is essentially a portal. And we're going to get into that because I kind of found a couple interesting things that coincides with some recent happenings in the world. We're going to get to that in just a minute. Take a look at this.
Portal for the local principalities. Now, if you saw my last video, you know about the stones and what I mentioned about the rituals. Look what it's called. Transcending. Come on, guys. Really? If you can't, do I have to explain this? Now, I actually came here before and I prayed standing here. I'm going to show you. Right there. And you know what happened? My feet started burning when I saw, because I was praying against this thing. But look, watch this. Look at this. Look at these hands. Fallen ones.
The reason many of you are saying this guy is wrong, because one, you don't read your Bible, and two, you are blinded by the truth. I pray the Lord opens your eyes.
Now, if I were him, I would not be inside of that.
No, of course not.
No doubt. That's why it was burning. I believe him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Because what if you get stuck?
Yeah, I mean, I always go back to Russ's story. Russ Dizdar. He was at Wallenberg Castle when he went down into it. Now, the Hall of the Dead, you can see like where because that was Himmler's castle, but you can see where the black sun's on the floor upstairs. But now underneath that's where the portal was at, underneath that black sun. Right. And Russ talked about going down there and then getting the only footage of anybody who's ever gotten it. And then he's like, well, okay, he got out of there. And he went back and he said that God told him to go because the portal had too much power for him for being human. And Russ, figure, well, God's telling me to leave. And God said, get out of here. So he left. But Russ described that too, that it was starting to burn.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And and then when we've shown you guys several times the first 10 minutes of the movie Hellboy, when the Nazis open up the portal and Hellboy comes through.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the most truthful part of a movie I'd seen in a long time at that point.
Different special operations high ranking used to say that's definitely accurate. That the first part of the movie is like, yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, and then you've got you've got Loki and stuff coming through the portals.
Yep. You know what? They don't talk about portals out of nothing but myth, but you got to understand that this stuff is real. They wouldn't be mentioning it as much as they have been throughout our society without being some truth to it. So one thing I've noticed in my lifetime is you mention certain things time and time again, 99.9% of the time it's factual, even though they claim it as being false information.
No doubt.
Well, I believe that, I mean, if you look in the Bible, I do believe that portals are talked about in the Bibles as well. In the book of Revelation, they're talking about the 12 gates. Each one represents a different passageway to heaven. I think those are referring to portals.
Oh yeah, Enoch described 12. Either there's 12 dimensions, but it's most likely the Stargate system.
Right, the Stargate system. Yep, and we know that, you know, the demigods, these people like Loki and these that were being shown in these movies, you know, they're going to come back. And are they going to come through these? Are they going to come through this? Are they going to come through this? I mean, where are they going to come through? You know, they're definitely going to be coming into, they're interdimensional creatures that are going to come into this dimension using something. I want to show this. Look, that's what I pulled. This shows, I don't even know, I couldn't get a date on it, but the uniform looks like it's maybe in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, whether that's real or not, almost every indigenous tribe has stories about the spiral. I mean, they drew them on the spirals are drawn everywhere.
So they could just open up in the sky. You don't necessarily need a ring.
Yeah, they could.
Built.
The Anasazi definitely talked about them opening up in the sky, and then what they call the ant people come through.
Right.
But 6 fingers, 6 toes, and definitely every story goes with either a reptilian comes with them, a serpent, some kind of a serpent, and cannibalism comes next. You know, that's every culture, and especially in the Western Hemisphere.
Well, and that's why the indigenous people of the Indians in North America, that's why when you met each other, you went how, and you put your hand up. They put their hand up, not as a sign, a gesture, but a sign to show that I only have 5 fingers on my hand.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know,
that's how they that's how they distinguish.
That kind of reminds me of the vagina claws that we've been seeing in Turkey, and actually there's one that appeared in Argentina.
That's a rose, Ernie. That's a rosette.
That's a vagina
Some
cloud.
people call
That's
it
a code
rosette.
name.
Some people call it a vagina. It just depends on you.
The code name is Rosette.
I never thought
Rosette,
I'd ever
okay.
hear. I never thought I'd hear Ernie say vagina.
Well, it's not swearing. But in all seriousness, though, I mean, we've seen it in Turkey, we've seen it in Argentina, and look what happened after that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. And speaking of Turkey, so look at what I found. The Stargate Gateway of Midas City, Turkey, connected to Mount Meru Stargate and the gateway in Peru. I'm not going to read this. I'm going to put that in the link in the description. I am going to read this next one, though. Turkey's mysterious portal to the underworld. Guys, this is the BBC talking about this. The ancient city of Hierapolis has long hidden a poisonous secret in its mysterious gate to hell, but modern science has definitely uncovered the truth behind the Roman myths. So it goes on to talking about how there's look at these. There's doorways that they believe are portals. And when it talks about here the gate to hell, we talked about this earlier, I don't know, a few weeks ago when we were talking about Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon, being on the 33rd degree parallel, has the only 24/7 manned UN base on it. And right by there is the gate, one of the gates to hell. So if there are 12 gates to heaven in the Bible, there's got to be 12 gates to hell as well, correct?
Yeah, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. But we know there's more than 12 portals total. So, I mean, I guess the other ones just go to different places, not heaven or hell.
Right. They could go into
any
other dimension.
Are all those portals on ley lines as well?
Most of them are, yes, because you've got things like Stonehenge and the pyramids, and in Egypt, and you've got your pyramids in Peru and South America. They're all on ley lines. And when you look at it, Phoenix, Arizona is almost on the 33rd degree parallel. And I mean, this one always shocked me because I mean, they even put the chevrons on it, like the movie Stargate. Hello.
Was that
Oh, it's
the
just a circle. Nothing
symbol
to
they had?
see here.
Was that the symbol they had to line up to make it work when that guy came in on the movie? I don't remember.
Yeah, he had to line up the chevrons. They were the things that locked in
Yeah.
along the outside, the chevrons like these, and they were shaped the same way these are. Yeah. And notice, like most all of these have some sort of um, things in front of stones in front of it. There's a stone in front of it on that one, stone in front of it on that one.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Remember, probably I guess maybe our first show when I told you that on a coin or even like what they would call like if you saw the Stargate that would summon Lucifer, and this is one that was uh, taken out of Mexico City. It was a stone in front of the circle, and it looked like a pieces of a board game, but that little picture you showed, that was on that coin from that had the upside down moon with the star on top.
Hmm.
And then the Stargate that was found in Mexico City, it looks like you would think, oh, that thing can't do nothing. But that one that they found, they said it would exactly, Lucifer would show up because you can conduct business with him. And it had the stone. You had to put it was a little tower with the stone on top in front of the Stargate. I'm going to find that picture of it.
Okay. Yeah, I would like you to. That would be very interesting.
I'll send it to you. It's in a locked email, but I'll send it to you. I'll screenshot it.
Okay. And like, there's a lot of stuff I have pulled up that I'm just going to put in the description area below for you guys. But there's a lot of talk. Here's one from Mysterious Universe, talking about mysterious portals and stargates of the ancient world. And here's another. Here, look at this doorway. And that's in Peru. Here's another one. This is in Bolivia.
So they don't have to be a circle, though, right?
No, they don't have to be a circle. They don't have to be. They could just be doorways or arches, doorways. Anything like that. But there's all kinds of them from that we've discovered from Iniquity that NASA and stuff, they're not even denying it anymore.
Well, isn't that how witches, they stand in a circle? Aren't they creating a portal?
A portal, yeah. Now, Project Looking Glass, let me pull this up. This is what we talked about ages ago. Here's one. It says, Yellow Book, Project Looking Glass in the Anunnaki, Stargate in Iraq. And this is a really good podcast. If you guys want to watch it, I'll put it in the description area as well for you guys. And then right on the NASA website, this is right on the NASA website. Now, I know you guys say, oh, NASA lies. Yeah, they do. You're right. They're deceivers. But even they're talking about hidden portals. And I think this has a lot to do with not only the Earth's magnetic field that CERN is messing with, but it also has a lot to do with frequencies. Frequencies open up these portals.
Yeah, frequency. That's the that's the key, literally. Lori, they can't think. Whoever the director was of CERN, he literally said, maybe like in 2010 or 2011. I'm sure you've seen it before. He said that we have interacted with another dimension. Remember that? He had a quote.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
And then that's the same time that he said that they also showed it was a documentary. I don't remember who, probably the British, but
Right.
it showed the different. Do you remember the pieces of glass with the different languages on there?
There we go. His name was hold on a second. Sergio Bortolucci. The top physicist at CERN admitted that something may come through the portal at LHC. Sergio Bertolucci, the director for research and scientific computing at CERN, admitted that when they were opening these things were coming through. This happened in Norway in 2009. As soon as they fired up CERN, this was seen in the sky. And I believe that was the day Obama arrived in Norway.
To accept the World Peace or whatever Nobel
Yep.
Peace Prize.
Yep, same day.
Something else about CERN. Okay, CERN had these pieces of glass, and it was a documentary, but I never heard anybody say anything except Tim Aberino. He said that there was one language on one of those pieces. It had all these languages, every language ever known. Well, he said there's only one language they had that was literally spoken by like two groups of people. It is old, but he said that was the first piece of glass that was next to the portal. And he said that according to like some reports from people inside CERN, those entities they contacted, literally, they somehow like went to that piece of glass first with that language.
This is also probably worth noting, but CERN, you know that CERN is the god Coronis, and there's an incantation to that god. It says, "Great God," and I'm not going to read it all. Open the door which has no key, the door of the stars where men come through thee. So I personally believe that they have the key, you know, in the book of Revelation where it says that the angel comes down holding the key to the abyss. I think they think that through Coronos having this incantation, they can open up doors without the keys. They don't need the angel that's holding the key to come down to open up the abyss. They can do it on their own. I think they believe that. I believe they're letting things through. I don't believe it's the demons of the abyss, but I think they're letting other dimensional creatures coming through. CERN has already admitted to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have all the technology they need right now. And as we discussed earlier, as you said earlier, you know, devil's giving them bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing new under the sun.
No, there isn't. And if you guys don't know about the portal over Washington, D.C., you think it can't get any stranger, this portal has been here since, I don't even know, but it's above the White House. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that whole city state is demonic in itself.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Roger Stone was talking about this portal, and I was like, oh, he's full of crap. He's just talking out his butt. And then I went over to the they have a 24-hour news feed from the above the White House is what you're looking at, and people were actually saying they went, you know, I live in the area. I'm going to go check this out. I don't believe you. And they were like, holy cow, it's there. And it's even there during the day.
Yeah.
Stationary.
Stationary, yep.
Well, you know, that's one of the Illuminati cards it shows the Capitol Hill building, and it shows all the demons like attacking everybody or trying to take them over.
Yep.
I think you're onto something, Big John, because you said that the son of perdition will be receiving, you know, Lucifer in his body through the apotheosis on the Capitol Hill.
Capitol Hill.
He's going to come through that portal.
Yeah,
that's probably the hole. Yep.
Underneath the rotunda, it's going to happen. You know, where everybody walks at, because you look up, there's the painting called the Apotheosis of George Washington. That's the painting up there, and he's surrounded by 72 fallen angels, which are the goetic gates, and then underneath that rotunda, that's where they put the presidents at when they're dead, or when you observe them, like Reagan was up there. Well, underneath is where they're going to have the ceremony where Apollo enters the flesh. Wow. Yeah, there's that card. That card ain't been played yet. Oh, and look what it is, the old Capitol Hill building.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those cards have been fulfilled?
I think there's like 4 left that haven't been. That's one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a few that haven't been played yet. There's some that are questionable whether they've been played or not. They look like they may have been, but we don't know for sure if it is. But yeah, that's definitely one of the that have not been played out. Let's see if I can find. Here's another one that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I saw that one, I think, on your wall, and I was wondering what that means.
Yeah. Tape runs out.
I'm trying to read what that says. What does it say?
When the rapture comes and it makes, they'll clean my cage. Now give me some more of tape runs out. Good try. Too bad something went wrong. This card may be played immediately after any other plot is played. For any purpose, that card is canceled. Both cards are discarded. Yeah. One of the power cards. Let's see if I can find the other one. There's
basically like the story stops and then.
It goes with what not everybody, but the Q people keep saying, enjoy the show. It kind of goes along with that.
Yeah, you're right. Enjoy the show.
Let's see, there's another one too. Oh, here's another one. This one's interesting. This is the one I was looking for. This one kind of goes along too. We've seen this one, I believe, played out. Rewriting of history. Let's see which one. Let's see what this says if I can pull it up.
Well, you really think about it, they have. I mean, look what the Roman Catholic Church has done throughout the years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oops. Yeah. I've got the new set. I don't have the old set. They wanted like $500 for the old set, and I was like, yeah, I got to pay that. But I've got the new set. I've actually gone over it a few times. I think Robbie and I showed him. He's got a set, and I had a set.
Yeah, you did a lot. Both of y'all did a live on it.
Yeah. I don't know where it is, but yep. So, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, with everything that's going on, I believe that the chaos that's being caused in this world right now is completely and totally Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution, and they're doing a damn good job of bringing the chaos. So
yeah, but it's also using it as a distraction tactic.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely,
because while we're looking at these train derailments and UFOs, we are being surrounded off of every coastline by foreign forces.
That's right.
Well, they're already here too. We've got 2 million people came over.
Oh, you got to see the comments I get on TikTok. They're like, an invasion will never happen. It's impossible.
Well, how do you explain all these food processing plants and these train derailments? Somebody's doing it.
They can't see the forest from the trees with it. It's the asymmetrical war. Yeah. I mean, people think, oh, I don't see no tanks rolling by. I don't see no infantry rolling. That's old school war. We're talking about some smart stuff. We're talking about the art of war.
Right.
I mean, you think Sun Tzu ever talked about it? Sun Tzu didn't have any kind of tanks and stuff. You know what I mean? He talked about your brain, really common sense. Mm-hmm. And that's implemented everywhere, even from von Clausewitz. He had of course had infantry and artillery, but it was all about morale and emotion, and they still use that from the war college today. Yeah, because emotion can overpower most, like that they say terror will overcome reason, and it works for a while, but then of course the peasants start fighting back. Then it's a power shift. It's a power paradigm. It's kind of like you impose your will on people, but when the bigger dog comes on the porch, it's kind of the power paradigm has shifted, and then the toughness you once had to impose your will shifts to your defense because something more powerful is coming after you.
And we can't lose our understanding that all of these world leaders are in allegiance with each other. You cannot become a world leader unless you're part of the club.
Oh, no doubt.
So this is all done together. One
And they
cohesive
all
front.
answer to Satan.
That's right. Silent
sure
Weapons
do.
for Quiet Wars. If you guys don't know what that is, you guys need to read that as well. 45-page document that basically tells us exactly what's going on. And where's the other one? He used to have a bunch of books. Here we go. Books you must read. Here we go. Oh, he changed his website, but there's here we go. Here they are.
Is that Howard Mina's website?
Sure is.
I
Yeah.
recognize it.
Adam Weishaupt, he's got one that Agenda 21. Where's Alice Bailey books, Manual of the Lodge, American Indian Freemasonry. Where's the other one?
Is the David Flynn one in there?
What's the name of it?
Something about Sidonia or something?
Yeah, Sidonia, the Chronicles of Mars. It was David Flynn wrote 2 books, but they combined them. I don't know what published. I think maybe Tom Horn might have did that. He put the books together and sold it as one. Those books are on Amazon now. One time that book reached like $500.
Gulp. I wanted to ask you, Big John, on David Flynn. How did he get his knowledge? Where did he get his knowledge from?
I think David was just a true believer. I think his discernment literally came from Jesus.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like.
Now, I'm not saying he wasn't smart. I think he had some workings with the government, but not. I never believed that David was a double agent. You know what I mean? I never believed David was any kind of a bad person. Kind of. I mean, bad like was against the humanity.
Right.
I think he exposed so much so fast, and to the T. That's why
they took him out.
The real whistleblowers ain't talking anymore. They're gone. But he had the most accurate depiction. I literally didn't even know who that guy was, and I had a dream that I was in a restaurant. This is when I first converted over. I had a dream because while I was asking questions to the Lord, I had a dream I was in a restaurant, and David Flynn, who I never seen before, the only reason I knew who he was, I recognized his face on the cover of that book, and he had a book in his hand, and which if I can remember correctly, I always said it was George Pember's book of Earth's Earliest Ages. He had that book, and he's drinking a cup of coffee, and he's looking at me, and he's like, "Here it is." He handed me that book. And then later on, I heard either Quail or somebody mention him, and I said, that guy was drinking coffee, and he gave me George Pember's book. That's him. And then once I read David's book, I was like, okay, this is why this guy is not here. Because it's not even like that guy never reached for nothing. He didn't use any kind of gematria. What he showed and what he says in that book, doesn't take any kind of like overthought. It's like, well, let me pull out my calculator. No, it literally says exactly what it is. Even if you want to know what the forbidden fruit was, read that book. It's going to blow your mind.
I'd like to get it.
Yeah, me too.
It's a literal emotion. It's an emotional, the fruit, obviously we know that it wasn't an apple, but think about like apple seeds. When you cut open an apple, it's going to blow your mind when you see how references the brain. It's nuts.
I guess Howard put us on his website. I just noticed that.
Lori, I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. What was that book? What was all the red letters you had on there? What were those?
Those are the different books that Howard recommends that people, if they want to understand the New World Order, they should read.
Oh, okay. You're gonna send
yeah.
it. You're gonna put the link to that.
Yeah, books you must read in order for the New World Order. And if you go down here and you scroll down, there we go. They're all, oh crap. They're all right here. And literally, he's got, this is where you can find The Art of War. This is where you can find just about everything. Rosicrucians, Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite.
Rosicrucian.
Manly P. Hall. He's got all of his. Brave New World by Huxley.
The Freemasons, they tell me that they don't know anything.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you come down here, he's literally got hundreds of books that, you know, if you want to read it, you would click. Here's one, The Creature from Jekyll Island. If you click on it, it'll take you right to the document, and you can read it right from his website.
I'll tell you one thing the Freemasons will never talk about. They'll never tell you why they have that inaugurate ritual every inauguration with the apotheosis, where they're trying to pull Apollo into the body of the president at literally down the road from the White House at the Heredom, the Scottish Rite. They will never bring that up. They'll say, well, let me debunk you. They always debunk the same Albert Pike crap and the Manly P. Hall crap. They'll say, well, he wasn't talking about, you know, that's they will not touch any Egyptian stuff or that ritual.
But they're not allowed to, though, because they're holding the secrets of Solomon.
That's exactly. That's why I get blocked by them, because I'm like,
yeah,
talk about it then. Debunk it. They'll block you. Oh, I didn't block it.
That's why I laugh when you said they say they don't know nothing. Yeah, right.
They're full of it, man. I can't.
That's the first rule.
There are a bunch of Rosicrucians.
That's the first rule of Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
I was just about to say that.
They'll move around and try to. I see them all the time. They'll try to debunk because everybody's like, well, it says the morals and dogma, Lucifer, blah blah blah. Then they'll always debunk that. But it's like that's like information given, you know, to the audience. That's not the, you know, the real magician show going on backstage. You know what I mean? They give you that, and they're like, well, I'll just debunk this, and it'll shut them up. But they'll never touch on the apotheosis fact. Never.
But how can they ignore Albert Pike and Manly P. Hall? They both laid it out in black and white, and yet they still deny it. I've asked them many times. I'm like, so you're telling me that he was a liar? That Albert Pike was a liar? I mean, Albert Pike is your man. He's your guy. But you're telling me that everything he wrote was a lie. So which is it? Either you worship him. I mean, because Albert Pike's writings are they're required reading for new initiates.
Exactly. You know, it's so funny. People say it's down. The Albert Pike statue's still standing. They're not taking down their buddy. He's the worst Confederate general ever, but his statue's still standing. Isn't that weird?
Huh, it didn't get ripped down. With
No, it's still there. Yeah, no, they're not going to do it. They can't. Just like a lot of them who are Luciferians can't invoke the name of Jesus. They can't say it. They can't say it. It's not in their will to say it. They can't.
Wow. Yeah, Charity. What is it? No, Richard says all presidential elections are held on leap year. Absolutely. That extra day is important to them.
I didn't realize that.
You know, here's the thing too. Okay, Abraham Lincoln was the highest ranking Rosicrucian, and Fritz knows that. Fritz Springmeier knows that too.
Oh yeah.
And he was the Order of the Lily. And the Rosicrucians are Freemasons. When the Freemasons say, oh, no, the Freemasons are all wrapped up in the Divine Mother, Mary Magdalene, Jesus was getting it on. That's all they talk about. And they try to spin it and say, well, you have a Divine Mother when you do the sign of the cross. It's not Son, it's Father, Mother, Holy Spirit. They're saying these things, but that's the whole thing. The Rosicrucian, like Ernie was saying earlier, it's about the rosette. They're so obsessed that Jesus was getting it on. When most of your hospitals in the South, especially in Louisiana, if you get off the elevators, there's a statue of the Virgin Mary per se holding what? A red rose. I'll go slap the hell out of that statue. That's not what that is. That's Mary Magdalene. That's her little laughing thing. It's true. It's her little sex doll with the little holding the rose. That's nothing to do with anything with Jesus. That's why it's true. If you see that little lady statue, that's not. She's holding a red rose every freaking time. Can't stand it.
Isn't that Ishtar?
Yeah, is that Ishtar?
Yeah, it's the divine feminine. I'm sorry to tell you, but that goes back to Ishtar. It's Egyptian. It has got. Mary Magdalene was a great story. You know, I believe she literally did what any other human should do: repent and refrain, and that's it. Her and Jesus were not getting it on. That did not happen. Why would the most powerful, the Son of God, the most powerful entity in the universe, who came to reverse what happened with the fallen angels and human women in Genesis 6, why would he do what they did?
They wouldn't.
Exactly. That's what I don't understand. I'm thinking the whole fact of the problem of the world is Genesis 6:4. And now you're telling me the Lord's like, oh, well, just forget about that. Hey, Mary, you're looking pretty good. It's bullshit.
Mary, you're looking pretty good. Oh,
I can't stand it. There's no way that somebody who has pulled most of these people in the chat or listening out of the abyss, I know it for a fact. The Lord did not mention anything to me. He did not say anything. Why that occurred to any kind of a lust or anything human. He told me why I was wrong in my fallen humanity. You know, the spirit that I had of not believing, and put me in the abyss. He just showed me. I can't name anybody I've ever heard any kind of conversion from where he's like, you know what? Yeah, me and Mary Magdalene were doing this, but I'm here to save you from your sins. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's it's disgusting. And that's why I never believe it. That him and in human form, God changed my life. And all the stuff I've been through, and for people to say that he was just here doing that, and there's a bloodline, I'm like, I will go to war with you. That is the love of the world is at war with God, and I find that to be atrocious.
Well, they have to take everything beautiful and good and turn it upside down. Everything.
And you know what? When I say that, they'll say, "Oh, well, you're a male chauvinist pig." No. What about? I've always explained that
in the Bible, Jesus did not give any social status to his mother, because for the purpose that he did not want her having status. Now he never even called her mom. He called her woman.
Yeah.
He addressed her as woman. When she approached Jesus at the wedding of Cana and told him that they were out of wine, will you help us? He said, he called her woman. He didn't call her mom. He didn't call her, nothing of endearment, because he didn't want her put up on that pedestal. He didn't want people to think that she was of importance.
Now people are going to say that Jesus was a male chauvinist.
Oh, well, how that works out for him.
And here's the thing too. People don't realize what a woman's worth is in Genesis 2:24 and 2:25, where she became created and then a wife. And she literally closes the gap of man between man and God. She sanctifies it, closes the gap, literally the purpose. So she's equal to, but yet nobody wants to recognize that. I'm talking about like people that are, just either got purple hair or hardcore feminists. It's like, oh, well, I'm not equal. Yeah, you are. Nobody's ever told you there is no war between man and woman.
Well, that's the reason why the whole feminist movement was started in the 60s, was for that reason too.
Yeah, submit. Even the submit, when Paul said submit to your husbands, it wasn't get them a beer.
Or make them a sandwich.
Exactly. Had nothing to do
My
with
husband
that.
and I have, my husband and I has that same argument all the time. He's like, "Obey, woman."
Yeah. Oh my God. You know, but that's the thing. That's the world's view on it, and the church has never said it. Yet the truth is, submit is, it's not to the husband, is submit to close the gap. Have you closed the gap between God and him? Did you submit to that? That's
Correct.
the mission.
Right.
And then what does it say for the man? Even worse. Have you loved her like I love the church? You can't. You can try, but you can't do it.
Exactly.
But that's why he gave us a harder mission. Not because a woman's inferior. She's got the harder one. She has it. She's got to close the gap.
We're bearing those kids.
That's it. And you're bearing. I come from that. I had a woman put me on the altar. That's how I turned around. That I'm even talking on this channel.
Well, you looking at it like this too. God, in the book of Genesis, God took the rib from Adam to make a woman, so just so they can be designed to be together.
Yeah, and
you have to have that union.
What did he tell him? Treat yourself. This is you. It had no kind of. They try to make the separation, because that's how Jesus even said it. They're going to try to separate everybody. My name, man and woman, nationalities. That's the only war that they can invoke on you. Mm-hmm. They even said it. The war starts in your house. That's how close the separation is with your own
and they're
family.
Winning.
Guess what? I'll never forsake you.
They are winning, and
100%.
they're doing a tremendous job at it. Even in the church, they're doing a tremendous. I would even say even more so in the church.
It's a war of emotion. There's no kinetic fighting here. It's a war of emotion. It's easy. It's like if human emotion was not known after the fall of the garden, it's kind of like when Cain murdered Abel. He didn't know what anger was. He didn't know what jealousy was. He was told that. How can Adam and Eve tell their kids, hey, guess what? Don't be sad. They didn't know what sad was.
No.
They didn't know any of that. The emotions came
it's like
from the fallen.
When you have two babies and you put them together, one could be a Caucasian baby and one could be a baby of color. They don't know hatred. They don't know racism. They don't know any of that. That's taught to them.
100%. It's taught, and it's part of the ones who the watchers taught humans. It's all included. The drug use, the abortion, that all came from those entities. That's why I say Genesis 6:4 is what started all the shit. It literally covers everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all goes back to, everybody says, oh, all roads lead back to Rome. No, actually, all roads lead back to the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, guys, I think we covered a lot tonight.
Yeah, no doubt.
We definitely did. Let's start our final thoughts. Let's go around and wrap it up. Portals, whatever you guys want to talk about. Trish, why don't you start?
It's been a heavy week for me this week, and I'm not sure why. I just feel it in my spirit, and that's why I haven't talked so much today. I'm just trying to process,
I completely understand that, more than you know.
So that's all I can say. Sorry, guys. Not my normal chipper self.
I completely understand that. I do. John, final thoughts.
Trisha's right. That's everybody's thoughts now.
Yeah.
I'd say stay the course. There's probably a lot more things to be revealed before I believe in it. And this is my opinion. People have asked this before here lately. Like, what's your opinion take on this whole thing? I think it's asymmetrical war. I think it's a lining up kind of like Gray State, terror, genre, conditioning. But here's the thing. Stay the course. If you feel down, know that nothing can separate you from the love of Jesus. It's everything that pops in your head with worry, confusion, whatever. It's only an emotional, psychological war. So just stay the course. Know the Lord loves you. He says your mother and father will forsake you, but he'll receive you. That's true. I know it for a fact. Mm-hmm. and go about your lives. So don't, in other words, I always say don't get into the fetal position and think that you're defeated and cry or all this other stuff. Hold your head up high, stay the course, and just watch. Be a watchman, be an apostle. Everyone are those things. If you believe in Jesus, you are an apostle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that. Don't think that you're not. Don't think, well, I do this, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm a good person, but my walk, I'm probably not. But I know for a fact I can't be separated from the love of Jesus. Mm-hmm. I'm not a holy roller. I'm just a normal person. I'm a nobody. So just know that don't listen to me. You got discernment. Ask the Lord. Go to the Lord in prayer. But stay the course. Don't forget where you're from. And I'll see you again one more time.
Nice. Ernie.
We talked about many times on the show that the hearts of many will grow cold from the times at the end. Now, we're seeing this starting to manifest. A lot of people are getting discouraged. A lot of people are suffering emotional and spiritual trauma because of all the things they are seeing and hearing. Being at the cusp of World War III and all these quote unquote natural disasters that is occurring, as well as quote unquote accidents. We are in some perilous times, guys, and we need to continue to remain in the word of God. Bible said those who call on the name of the Lord shall be saved, and we need to do that. We need to continue to do that. This is a test of our faith, and this is the patience of the saints. God says to come out of her, my people. We are in the end times. We're seeing our country fall apart right before our very eyes. We've seen our waters polluted. We've seen our airways becoming pretty much inhabitable to breathe. Our food is starting to grow bad from all of these chemicals and fires and stuff they put in our atmosphere. And it's all by design. These people that are in high power, they are in high power because of who they serve. And they don't serve the Most High. I mean, the book of Ephesians talks about it. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood, guys. We are dealing with principalities and rulers in dark places. And we must continue to recognize that and see that this is a spiritual battle for your soul. As mentioned here in this broadcast, we are basically at a war between the Most High God and Satan, as who is going to retrieve the souls the most. The devil is pulling out all the stops to deceive the nations just so he can pull them away from our Creator. And we have to realize that our Creator is the one who formed us from dust. He transcends space, time, and matter. He is the one that is here to save the world. He wouldn't have came back in human form if he didn't love us so much. He loves you guys. For those who are listening right now and the people who are going to be listening later, reach in their soul and cry out for Jesus, because that is the only way that you're going to get out of this mess. Because if not only will you suffer a physical death, you will suffer a spiritual death. Put your faith, trust, and reliance on the Most High God. With that, I yield back.
Amen. Wow. I don't even know where to. How do you follow that up? Goodness. Exactly what Ernie said. So guys, we're going to take a week break. I'm gonna do exactly what Ernie said. I'm going to take a short break, only about a week. I did tell everybody on Facebook that I was going to be taking this break. Everybody here knows, John knows, that we're going to forego next week, but we'll be back the week after, just for a little mental health break. There's been so much things that are happening I'm exhausted, and if I'm going to continue to be a watchman, I need to have this little respite and get back in the Word. But we will be back a week from Wednesday, I promise. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Want to thank everybody in our chat room. Want to thank all of our moderators, as always. Again, I mean, if there's breaking news during the day, we'll pop on real quick. But as far as Wednesday nights, we're going to skip next week, and we'll be back the week after. So, yeah. So until we meet again, remember, guys, eyes open, no fear.